What up guys, it's Cret, and today I have something really cool for you. I'm publicly releasing version 1.0 of KrettCalc, which right now is going to help you calculate 100 DPS, and in the future we'll do lots of other cool things. Hopefully everything, but you know, we'll see what I can actually put together. So this is a two-part calculator, and you start by putting in what your target is. This also serves as an effective health calculator, so you can mess around with it. So let's just say we want to do Athena, level 20, but you could do any other level just clicking right here. And you could put in items. So let's do shoes, focus, and salve, and heart ward, right? Now, as you see, when you select Salve and Heart Ward, it disables the aura option because those auras are on you. But you could still potentially have the Lotus Crown passive, yes or no. So if you're affected by Lotus Crown passive, look, you get 20 physical, 20 magical protections. If you're not affected by that, or you don't care about your effective health under that, and they go away. Alright, so let's go back to empty, and you can see how all this changes. So my health will drop, my magic protection will drop, and my magical effective health will drop by a lot. My physical effective health will drop by less because it's only getting reduced by health. And then now I only have a salve, but let's say someone else on my team is a heart ward, so I could turn that on, and then bam, 20 physical protections. Alright, cool. So just to go over really quick what effective health is, and mostly this guide's not about that, or this program is not about that, but effective health is your health multiplied by the damage reduction from your physical and magical protections to give you two numbers, your physical effective health and your magical effective health. Those numbers are the amount of raw DPS that has to be put into you before you die. So if we just stack, let's go back to Athena. If we just stack physical protection, right? So let's get Nemean, Salve, Mystical Mail, and Midgardian Mail. So all four physical protection items puts us 314, 3,550 health, and 14,697 physical effective health. So what that means is your opponents have to put out 14,700 raw damage in order to kill you, physical damage. But because your magical protection is currently super low, you only have to put out 6,000 magical protection. And this has all the items in the game. I might have missed one, but I probably didn't. You know, so even we could do a ethereal staff, bam, that gives us a bunch of bonus health. Warlock sash, a stack thing shows up, right? So like, this is assuming we have 100 stacks, which is the maximum. But we could have less, we could have 60 or 50, I guess, because that's the number I put in. Bam, less health. We can have 100. If I try to go over, it stops me. Doesn't tell you the total number of stacks, but whatever you could do. Alright, so that's level 20 Athena. We want to go back to Neith. The reason I go back to Neith is just sort of my baseline for hunter comparisons. I just feel like she's the most average hunter in pretty much every way. And she doesn't have a steroid. So let's go down here. Let's go to Neith, and let's empty out the build. We'll do it item by item, and I'll explain. And I guess I'll also show you the way that the current build was put together. So we're just going to keep it at level 20. Last hit HP whelp. So what this means is that it's taking a really long time to kill your target. In fact, I don't think this is actually even an accurate number. So if it's above 24, this is wrong. Just so you know. But basically, any calculations that matter are gonna take less than 24 shots. Because this is generally if we're talking about good builds, and good builds kill faster than that. So, yeah, let's start with Devourer's Gauntlets, right? And we're doing 176 raw DPS. But after our Neith's protections, which is up here, 72 physical protection, we're only doing 102 DPS. So, yeah. And then, just to show, there's a little box here. It's like, hey, is there a Void Blade on your team? If so, calculates that in mitigated DPS changes. Bam. And then, do you have an Achilles Spear active? No one really uses this item, but it's in the calculator anyway. And look, it bumps up your DPS by, what's that, 25%? Cool. Alright, So that's Devos Gauntlets. Our next item, well, we could go Ninja Tabi or we could go Warrior Tabi. Let's do them both. So let's try Warrior Tabi. That's going to give 227 DPS. And we could do Ninja Tabi. That's going to give us 224 DPS. Alright. Well, either way, it's taking us a lot of shots to kill. So, whatever. It's not going to show the last hit HP here. This time to kill thing will still show up though. Alright, so let's see. Ninja Tabi, next item. Alright, let's compare some options, right? They've got Aussie, 19 shots to kill, 270 DPS. Let's just look at this number, raw DPS. So 270 raw DPS, 172 mitigated DPS. We've got Ikavol, which is 198 mitigated DPS, 321 raw DPS, and hey look, it's giving us last hit hell shots to kill. Yeah, so sort of below the threshold of about 10 seconds. And then Executioner. Okay, so this number changes here, and the reason it changes is because DPS is the amount of damage your hunter does over an extended period of time. And it doesn't make sense to average your post-mitigation DPS with the first 3 shots of Executioner in it. That's just not something I'm interested in doing. It's a needless burden, so it's not in the calculator. This is the number that the amount of damage you do when your Executioner is fully stacked. This is the amount of damage that you do assuming your target somehow has 0 protections. Void Blade still works. Lifesteal still works. Everything still works. So 228 post-mitigation DPS. Aussie 172. And Ikavol 198. Of course, it gives us the power swings. Let's keep going with the Ikavol. And here we're going to go into an Executioner. So once again, full stack DPS is 334. Raw DPS is 424. So this isn't modeled, right? What this means is that this is just assuming that your Executioner is fully stacked. And once your Executioner is fully stacked, you're going to do 334 DPS. You will do less DPS before that point because you're going to have less penetration on the target. However, shots to kill over here, last hit health, time to kill, those are fully modeled. And that means that it is accounting for Executioner on the first, second, third, fourth hit, and stacking it up as you go. So that's really cool, and that's really important. We'll see that more when we get to full items. So let's go here. After Executioner, we go into Rage. DPS pops up by a lot, about 200, and then Deathbringer puts us above 1,000. We currently have a full build. We can still sell the Ikavol. So let's do that. Let's sell it for Malice, and bam, pops us up to 73% crit chance. Now the reason it went from 56 to 73 is because I'm fully modeling Rage. So it's averaging out the contribution from the Rage passive and just throwing that in there. Executioner stack DPS 863, raw DPS 1180, shots to kill is 5, last hit HP 48. That means the first 4 shots would have to do 50 more damage to kill our target in 1 less shot. That's what this number is about. And it's a really important number because it could tell us about some tricks. Here's one. Ninja Tabi. Overall generally considered better, but we switched to Warrior Tabi, and it looks like we kill in 4 shots now, not 5. Remember, the previous last hit HP was 50. Well, Warrior Tabi's hits are going to be a little bit harder and a little bit slower, so it could drop us from 5 to 4 shots, which is pretty handy. Though our raw DPS and our full stack Exe DPS does go down. So that's just sort of little tricks and tips that you could figure out from this calculator. But let's go back to Ninja Tabi boots, because they'll generally be better in most situations, because really raw DPS is still the most basic stat to look at. Alright, moving on, let's talk about this Malice. Now, you could put a lot of items in this spot. We've already seen the Ikavol, we've seen the Malice. Let's look at the Aussie. Oh, don't mean to click that. Cool. So the Aussie is going to give us a lot less DPS, but our lifesteal is going to skyrocket up to 315. We're sacrificing about 200 DPS for it, and full stack Exe DPS, we're sacrificing about 70 or 80, but our lifesteal goes up to 315 from 215. So it's an extra 100 damage per hit. We're attacking faster. So overall, you can sort of see why this trade is one that people do. The downside is you kill one shot slower, which is, I think, about 0.2 of a second. So watch this number, 261, or 2.61, 2.45. So you kill in an extra shot, the extra shot comes faster, it's a 2.61 second TTK. I haven't explained what TTK is. What that means is at 0 seconds, your first auto connects. Then 0.61 seconds later, based on the attack cooldown here, your second. At 1.2, your third. At 1.8, your fourth. At 2.45 would be your fifth, and that's when your target dies. So TTK is the amount of time it takes to kill your target, assuming your first auto hits at 0 seconds. That's when we start our stopwatches. So that's a really nice, valuable stat when you're talking about Hunter versus Hunter. TTK is something that only works in single target situations, so that's why when you open up the Odysseus bow, it becomes inaccurate, and the stat will not display it. These numbers here, they're gonna be thrown off, and OD bow counts as if it fully bounces. So that means our raw DPS goes way up. And the reason it does is because our proc is doing 333 damage per second. That's a lot. Now remember, this is counting as if the OD bow fully bounces. So that means 30 plus 50% of our total physical power, so 271, is going to hit 4 times. So it's doing about 1,200 damage per jump. Pretty crazy. 1,200 raw damage at least. So that's the Odysseus bow. Now you might be wondering, what happens in a single target situation with my Odysseus bow, right? It's clearly great for team fights. That's what it's for. It's for the AoE. But in a single target situation, can I still box? We have a separate item for that. That's the Odibo ST, the single target Odysseus bow. And the single target Odysseus bow is going to be a DPS loss by about 170 DPS. It's going to be an attack speed gain by such a large margin that the TTK, comparable to a Malice, is really close. But you have to still land that extra shot. So, and your life stealing for less, also important. So that's the Odibo ST. It's just a slightly modified item that that you can check with the calculations and just sort of see where you stand in a single target, even if you're using that Odibo. And that's once again counting as if it when it procs, it hits your target, but it doesn't bounce at all. So it's not counting any of that damage, just the first hit of that Odysseus bow. So let's see. We've gone over TDK, shots to kill, last hit health, lifesteal, different characters. I've only shown you Neath, so let's switch back to the Malice here. Got a host of hunters. Medusa's not in this. It will not be until I release a later version, which down the road, and we'll see what happens with that. So no Medusa. But every other hunter's in, and their steroids are in these little boxes that you can see. So let's go to Uller. So wield bow attack speed. In intervals of 5, we get passive attack speed. We're assuming it's max, that's 25 attack speed, 25%. Are you affected by exposed weakness? That's Uller's 2. So we do 376 auto attack DPS, and without it, we do 326. And as you can see, our raw DPS 1348 without it, 1555 with. So it's a pretty good passive. We're killing with 4 shots, 1.62 second TTK. Let's look at ROM. 1.41. We're using Astral Strike, which is going to give us just a little bit of extra damage. It can't crit, but it's pretty handy. It's going to be just enough to switch our shots to kill from 5 to 4. Are you affected by Pick Me Up? Yes, that's his attack speed steroid. So our attack speed is 2.13. Without it, it's 1.65. Yes, we are affected by Pick Me Up. Alright, Rom, do Shibalanki. Less DPS than Rama. Fun fact. This is with 6 Dead of Night stacks. That's his passive. Are you affected by Branching Bola? This only accounts for Branching Bola rank 5. Because I guess I'm lazy. Maybe I'll fix it in the future. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But yeah, this is assuming you're affected by Branching Bola rank 5, so it's extra 50 power that can crit, gives us 1400 DPS. But you already know that actually Apollo, one of the highest DPS hunters, during his Audacity, his attack speed is capped, and he can pump out a lot of damage. 1800 DPS over the course of those technically 6 shots. Because you fire 5, the 6th one comes out just as fast. And then Artemis. Technically less DPS than Apollo, but you can control her, and that's what's so important. So are you affected by Vengeful Assault? Yes, we are. Still target crit, 15%. And yeah, there you go. I don't have the purple buff programmed in. Probably won't put it in until a later patch. But, hey, whatever. It's still pretty good. You've got a lot of stuff going that you can see. And I hope you guys like this. If you have any additional questions, if there's any bugs or slight fixes that you guys need me to make, I'm down. This version will not have any additional features, but in the future I will be releasing something hopefully very, very much more complex, featuring mages and assassins and damage combos. And you know what, let me just open up my drive and I'll show you a little sneak peek of what I've got cooking, and I'll just show you that in the future. Maybe you guys can get excited about it. I don't know, I'm pretty excited. So this is my Mage calculator, and this is not going to be released, but it's what I'm working on in the future, so you guys can get your hands on this eventually. We're looking at a level 20 raw. Give him a Warlock Sash, fully stacked of course. That's his only bonus health. And here we have Agni. And Agni is currently the only mage programmed in. He has 685 magic power with his build. Let's give him a red buff. 794 magic power. He's got Shoes of Focus, Warlock Staff, Book of Thoth, Spear of the Magus, Cronus Pendant, and Rod of Tahuti. So, Agni is a different kind of god, requires a different perspective, and this system has a lot of artifacts because I just sort of threw it together as a prototype just to show you guys that what I'm working on here for Agni. We've got all of his abilities listed. We've got Noxious Fumes, Flame Wave, Path of Flames, Range Fire, and his passive Combustion. And let's do our combo. I think I have it in here. So technically, Noxious Fumes can hit first when you're doing a Meteor Stun combo. So 4-1, you press, but Noxious Fumes can connect first. So we put it down first. It's going to connect. It's going to apply the first tick of Spear of the Magus. If we had a Soul Reaver, you could actually manually insert that damage here. Then we've got our ultimate that's going to connect, and it's going to do 604 damage with a total of 642. Our second ultimate will connect. Our third ultimate will connect. And then we're going to use ability 2. That's our Flame Wave. We're going to auto attack, then we're going to dash through, and it gives us... Oh man, I didn't put in the passive. Well, you know what? Our passive went off early in the combo. Let's just throw that in there. It's going to do 4,094 raw damage. That's sort of what I'm looking at with Agni here. We can see enemy health 2,345, combo damage 4094, and we also have effective DPS here. And what effective DPS is, just a sort of theory crafting term that basically means your DPS given the fact that you have to rotate your cooldown. So it's your DPS over a period of time, over your recycle duration, right? So based on your maximum recycle duration, you get your effective DPS, and then your mitigated DPS, which is currently bugged. I think it's reducing people to negative protections. But this is all prototype stuff. This is stuff that I'm working on for the future, and you'll be able to combo calculate, I hope. You'll be able to do any god. We'll have assassins, guardians, whatever. My hope is to get this done and get it out to you guys in some way. But for now, you'll have to make do with just this KrettCalc 1.0. It's still really cool. It can do a lot of stuff. I hope it can help you guys mess with other cool builds. For example, I guess the Heartseeker Fatalis build, right? Heartseeker Fatalis. Bam. We're on Artemis. Let's go back to Neath. 1069 DPS. 5-shot TTK, right? So mess around with it. See what you find. Hope it's helpful. Hope you guys like it. Yeah, if you like this, please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. You could also follow me on Twitter. I'll put that in my description. There will be a Reddit thread up where you can comment. You can also leave comments on the YouTube. If there are any bugs, I'll try to fix them for you. And added features probably won't go into this version, but if there's something you really like to see, let me know so I can put it into a later version to be released at some point. TBA, soon TM, etc. No idea when I'll get that going, but it's something I'm working on. Last thing is, this is done through Google Sheets. So in the description you'll find a link to the document. You can click that link. It will ask you for your Google account. You put in Google account information. If you don't have one, well, get one or you're shit out of luck. And that will put this document in your drive for you to access at any time. You cannot edit the master document that way, so it allows me to keep my stuff, mine, and then you guys can just copy it, so you know no one can mess it up or whatever. Alright guys, hope you enjoy the calculator, and I will catch you next time. See ya.